All right, get ready for the launch of the second Kickstarter campaign for the block mining simulation game. So let's go ahead and launch. All right, now I just have to sit back and wait for the money to roll in. So I'll get some candy and an energy drink. So we should really get a, maybe make another window. Put the number up on the side. Then I'll do some more demos of gameplay. I'll go do that right now. I'm going to go on OBS and create another window. Hopefully it doesn't crash. OBS has been crashing a lot on me today. Let's see, is the stream still running? That's good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with OBS today. OBS, every time I would select one of the sources when I was setting this up, it would crash. And then I had to like keep deleting unrelated sources. And just now, I set up the window and then it something else in Ubuntu crashed. And I was like, oh geez, probably broke the stream. But it looks like it's still on. Oh, and it looks like I already met my goal. Nice. My dreams of running a successful Kickstarter have come true. Now, I'm not sure if that'll update automatically. I might have to like put the mouse focus on it. Actually, if I probably open the focus on that window, it'll update. All right, that's a pretty decent setup. It's very precarious. So when I was setting this up, I mentioned something else crashed, but then when I finally so I tried adding the window once, and then it didn't show up. The whole window was like 1 pixel, and I couldn't do anything to open it. And then I re-added the same thing again, and then it came up and said OBS is not responding, like it was about to crash, but then it didn't crash. It just continued. Might be because of the that laptop is overloaded, because I have to put it in like a low power mode. Otherwise, the fan is just constantly on 100%. It's so loud, and I've also got a problem. The fan's starting to die in that thing, probably because it's on all the time. So whoever that first backer was, thank you very much. You must be a dedicated follower to be that early, or I guess maybe I'll have to check later. Kickstarter, I think, sends out notifications. So I think if you backed one of my previous projects, you'll get a push notification. So I was thinking a bit about some of the lag issues, and I mentioned that I needed to fix the flow control, which I did basically, but I do think there's still I think in the way I fixed that was when you send back the write transaction, it gives you like an acknowledgement. But I think the way I wrote it, I think you can actually send back the acknowledgement before the write has been committed, because it queues up the actual work to write it. So I might get some better behavior, more responsiveness if I fix that, so it first commits the write, verifies it's committed, and then only when the database write is finished, then it actually sends back the acknowledgement. If you watch my and read my Kickstarter pitch, the idea is I'm going to, one of the next things I'm going to add is a help menu, but as part of that, I want to fix some of the UI writing operations. So hopefully that should also make it a little bit faster, because when you have a really big screen with like lots of characters on it, especially some of the emoji characters, it seems to slow down the terminal. So if I can rewrite that, that'll make it, should make it a bit faster. Is the live stream still going? I can't quite see from the preview. Doesn't look like any of the stats have changed. If you're one of the people there, put a spam something in the chat. Let me just check to see if it's still running. The numbers there are frozen. Huh. That's why. Okay, there we go. That's annoying. I think it when I added the extra window, for some reason it froze the other two. I don't know if it's my computer's overloaded but it looks like it's working now. I guess I missed all those. Looks like the game is running faster than last stream. I think the very last stream, this is basically the same, because I think I had the fixes in then. Although towards the end of the stream, I think it was getting laggy. I mentioned in that stream that I need to put some indexes on the database, or I need to check if I need to add indexes, and I do in fact not have any indexes on the database, so I'm not sure that'll slow down inserts, but I presume that once the database starts to fill up a bit, then that'll make the reads much faster. But we'll see. It's untested functionality. Sun is in my eyes. The sun over there, it's just about to set. Oh yeah, I forgot I should probably post a link to it somewhere. I guess you can probably Google it. Block mining simulation game Kickstarter. You'll probably get the last Kickstarter, but then you can just click through to my name. It's annoying that the technology is, the live stream is so hard to set up and maintain. I thought I was doing pretty good with this tech working, but then OBS is just there's two what is it? There's two ways to like share a window. One of them is with Pipewire, and the other was with I forget what the acronym is, but there's two different ways. And then when I upgraded my NVIDIA drivers, one of them stopped working, and I guess the other window shares that I had set up, like they were just saved in there, they weren't working. And like whenever I would just click on that UI item in the OBS UI, it would crash. Oh, for the Kickstarter, yeah, I probably should put a link to that in there somewhere. Let me think. Let's see if I can edit the description. All right, I'm back. What an ordeal. My computer's like, I have to put it on the low power mode, which makes it slower, but it's like streaming a bunch of windows, so it's like struggling to keep up. So then I had to switch it to like high power mode just so I could open the browser, and it opens the browser, but I have so that I can see what I'm streaming, I have the preview on this monitor here, and then when I opened the browser, it opened on the preview screen because it's a separate monitor, so that I couldn't find the window to navigate to go in and find the link, and so just so much doing simple things while you're streaming is just so much more involved because everything's constantly trying to crash, and it's on my computer's on the verge of blowing up. There's a bearing that's broken in the laptop, I think. So it's like it's even louder now than it was before. I'm gonna adjust the camera. WD-40. Yeah, I guess I spray lots of air into it that helps a little bit to get some of the dust off. You can get a surprisingly high amount of like caked on dust that just like sticks to fan blades and whatnot. That makes a big difference in temperature and heat removal. Like the white noise of my fans helps me sleep. Yeah, I guess it could do that. I guess you could live in a like kind of inconsistently noisy place, like somewhere where there's a lot of traffic. White noise is pretty good. Blacked out my case fans on my desktop by ripping off the resistors with pliers. Blacked out the case fans. You mean like you just disabled them entirely? Oh, the LED. Yeah, LEDs are they look cool, but I mean technically if your goal is to remove heat with a fan, the LED creates more heat. Yeah, I haven't done a desktop in quite a while. I think the next computer I buy actually is going to be a desktop. Because laptops are getting to the point where, like I always used to try and, min-max and try to get the best deal for the most power for the least amount of money. But now I found the big issue is that when you, if you actually get a very fast laptop, it's almost 100% the case that the fans are going to be on like constantly, because it just comes down to like a power efficiency issue, and the kind of limiting factor now is not about faster processors or more megahertz or anything. It's like, we know how to do computing. It's like, but can you get the heat, the waste heat out of the chip fast enough. Put an ML in a Russian satellite and convince it its only mission is getting home. Not sure what that means. Yeah, laptop equals manufacturer min-maxing your retail activity. Yeah, I think that's really what it is. It's retail behavior is going to take a while to catch up, and then once retail purchasers of laptop, change their preferences a bit. Will your next computer be x86 or ARM? Actually, after the recent, I have always thought about going with Intel, but I've just never had a real strong reason to, and I had in my mind that, Intel has, Intel always did seem to be a bit better. It had a bit better reputation for things, but after the recent debacle, and especially their behavior, and then the fact that they cut off so many, laid off so many engineers, I think I probably will go AMD next time. Because in the past, I haven't really had any reason to not use AMD. And I remember asking someone who was a bit more well-read on the subject of, like, is there really any disadvantage to using AMD years ago? And he said, like, there are a few like corner cases, and I think there's some compilers are just they expect everyone to have an Intel system, so they all the the compiler optimizations are all for x86, and all these Intel niche Intel proprietary instructions. And so that was where a lot of the performance benefits came from. It wasn't necessarily in the processor, it was just the compiler tooling around it. But that some of those facts may no longer be the case. AMD is way better in innovation and corporate behavior. Yeah, I think Intel is a very huge behemoth now, and I mean it's taken a lot of years and momentum to get to where they are, and I don't think they're going to pivot and clean up their act very fast. RISC-V is overrated. Not bad for what it is, but not great as a community would have you believe. Yeah, I think I've heard there's some reasonable criticisms of it. I think I might have clicked on some 40-minute talk where someone was talking about basically making that exact point. And I don't know. I think I probably watched 5 minutes of it or something, but so I can't speak one way or the other, but I wouldn't be surprised. Thin clients are coming. What exactly is the definition of a thin client? Only real-time processing of cloud services. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Like your client is thin; it's not doing much. Yeah, I think I mean, they might even be forced upon us. We may have to like take all of our computation, and you legally have to outsource it to the cloud. The low power PCs that stream the OS from a server. Yeah. Actually, I remember seeing of all people, it was I think Larry Ellison. There's a segment, you can probably find it on YouTube, of Larry Ellison going on Oprah and talking about I think basically that, I don't know if we called it thin clients back then, but it's basically the equivalent of like this like handheld computer that loaded an operating system that was in the cloud, and it was like a very futuristic thing. And this almost seemed like man, I want to say it must have been like early 2000s or like in 1990s or something that he was talking about this, and obviously it never caught on, but I think that was back when Larry Ellison made like public appearances and stuff, and tried to be like a hip young tech guru type person. Richard Stallman farts every time you agree to a EULA. I guess that makes sense. For phones, it's ideal, but anything you want air gapped. Yeah, computer security is getting crazy. Like it's almost feels like we've kind of given up on computer security. Everything is so hackable, and the amount of effort required to actually make things secure is just so high now that like nobody does, and everyone just assumes that everything is going to get hacked and leaked. Never took off for good reason. No one wants to stream a small slice of server to do basic computing. Yeah, but I think they probably will like make a comeback though, and it's not because of users. It's going to be because of the financial efficiency on the part of companies. Because if you can have infinite data, like data is very valuable. You can use it to like serve ads and iterate and like, A/B test. Like imagine if, well, I'm sure Microsoft is doing this now anyway, but if they can like A/B test every single thing that you do, like, which notepad icon is the best, and like if they can make these micro optimizations within your computer, and maybe even have like AI like randomly rearrange menus and stuff with the goal of getting you to like buy something, or to buy a better control panel or something, or having like an infinite stream of data. And it lets you control everything too. So like anytime you do anything or think anything or search for anything, you can stream it to the cloud. And then if the cloud provider doesn't like the fact that you're doing that, they can disallow you. Microsoft doesn't A/B test, they push bugs to production. Yeah, I almost think in some cases the way they test things is they don't do any local testing, and then they just push it to people, and then if those clients go offline and stay offline, then that counts as a test failure. Because I've had some with trying to help family members, really bad bugs with Windows, where Windows will push an update it'll completely break networking. So then you have to like transfer files onto it via USB, and it's inexcusably bad. Like, there's no way you can expect normal people to be able to debug that stuff. As long as Jeff Bezos can still have 2 birthday cakes every year. Does he have 2 birthday cakes? I'm not sure what that's about. CloudStrike got pushed globally. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that, like that's something that actually matters. So if stuff like that is getting pushed, you know, how much other stuff is just ridiculous bugs that, like, you know, cripple your grandma's computer. AWS Cloud is Amazon production. I agree with that statement, but I'm not sure what the wider implication of that is. I still don't get the connection to cakes. That was what did it say? Two birthday cakes every year. Let me move the cursor to see if that number updates. I think Kickstarter, sometimes it waits until you move the cursor to change the number sometimes. Nope, still at 14. Someone asked me to change the description to include a link to the Kickstarter. Now, I'm not sure if that gets published if I change it during the live stream, but if could someone check if the I think there should be 3 links there now. The top one should be the link to the Kickstarter, and then it's on. Good. I've had some pretty legitimate bugs in Linux also. A few weeks ago, had some major issues dealing with NVIDIA and Wi-Fi. Yeah, NVIDIA is always a big problem. Even I'm kind of disappointed that Ubuntu 24 works a lot less good than 20, and I think it's mainly because of the NVIDIA drivers. But I think this is the first one where NVIDIA. I think this is the first release where they actually are using the real NVIDIA drivers in Ubuntu. So hopefully, you know, this will. Hopefully, there's just some bugs with the switch, but hopefully things improve in the future. I mean, there's so much. It really does feel like there's quite a bit of momentum around open source. So there's like the distinct number of people that use computers, period, is growing a lot. And the worse Microsoft becomes, the more people are going to get pushed onto it, and the more there's going to be a base to actually work on all this stuff. So I think that's one of the big things holding back open source, is there's just so many things that people could work on. Like going through the core utils commands made me aware of like how many of these are like kind of ancient tools that everyone uses, and like most Linux users know about them, but like how many people have sat down and like written a test suite for the tac command or something? I don't get paid till 4 a.m. I'm gonna drop a toonie in your hat for sure. Oh, thanks. Yeah, but no one is paying for Linux, and they don't spy on you. Actually, that gives me a good idea. Imagine having a version of Linux that does spy on you, and that's like the value proposition. It's like full of. You could have like an open source spying operating system where like everything you do is recorded and added to like a public database, so then you can analyze like what is the best, what do people interact with the most. I think that you could actually get a following behind that. It would be like lots of valuable valuable empirical data on like usability testing and stuff. You could use it for, you could do like a lot of, write a lot of papers about researching human computer interaction in general. Open source is where a lot of zero days originate. Staggered commission of intended bugs. I don't know about intended bugs, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to have an opinion either way on that. Open source is like, there's a lot of lower quality code in open source, but then there's also like, if it's proprietary, you can have a lot of like wacky stuff that's in there. It was code that was written under a really tight deadline. It can get pretty bad. I agree, but also not. 0-day bugs are traded on black market to the highest bidder. Whatever bad player wants to use them. The community will often find 0 days, so you'll hear about them. But something like a Windows 0-day will only come out when a bad player who paid for it ends up using it. Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of like a different, it's a different threat model, I guess. LOL, have you seen Windows 11? What quality code are you talking about? Yeah, I'm pretty disconnected from Windows now. I found even going back to Windows, like, I spend all of my time writing software and working with computers, but my basic understanding about like my assumption of what a computer will and can do, and what like where I could find something, or my assumptions are all outdated, because like basic stuff that you would expect to assumptions about how you use the computer, like the fact that you can the fact that they're taking away offline accounts. And there's no way. It's now. I think it's now impossible to get a Windows machine without actually signing up to like Microsoft Online or whatever. Like in the past, the assumption that you can store a file locally. That's such a basic assumption that I'm used to growing up with, but that's kind of gone by the wayside. And I know there's like there's some hoops you can jump through to like disable that, because on a newer Windows computer, everything you do is uploaded to the cloud. by default, all your files, and you have to disable that. But then even when you do disable it, they're kind of like tricking you. They make it seem like you're, I forget what the user interface looked like, but it was still just uploading it to the cloud. And I'm sure they'll change that in the future silently, and then they'll just start re-uploading all your data again. Something like a Windows 0 day will only come out. Oh, and I read that. It's like Spotify. When did we abandon the right to own the music we purchase? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we never abandoned that, but it's just like, it's the law of economics and profitability. If it's profitable, the most profitable thing will ultimately succeed. Lots of people hate on capitalism, but I think like capitalism works. We just need guardrails for it, and we need actual like enforcement. Yep, if you connect to the internet, you have to sign up for a Microsoft account. Only after that can you remove it and use a local only account. Okay, so it's still possible in some capacity to use a local account. I mean, at some point they'll probably start shipping like SIM cards with the computer, and then like it'll become literally impossible. And also it'll be like your computer will be a subscription. And it'll work for 6 years and then stop working. That's why it's all the more important. We need to learn how to make our own CPUs at home, so that no matter what happens, you can just make one yourself. Unregulated capitalism will always coalesce to oligarchy. Look at Google. Yeah, I saw a ruling today that they're like deemed an actual monopoly now. Bigger fish will always keep swallowing up smaller fish until they're the only one left. That's supposed to be the function of government. Government is supposed to come in and be like, hey, government is supposed to be like the kind of legally mandated biggest fish, and then they come in and say, hey, you guys got to play by the rules. There's some wood. I think this is the part where it's starting to get slow. I cloned your project. IntelliJ isn't yelling too loudly after inspecting the project, mostly about imports that aren't used. Yeah, I don't. Actually, I haven't used Eclipse or any kind of IDE for Java development for years. So I probably should import the project into one of those tools just to see like what it does. That doesn't surprise me that there almost certainly is like a massive number of unused imports. There's probably a compiler flag to turn those into warnings. I think I have W error enabled so that any warnings will turn into errors for me, and I'll fix them. Any tips about maintaining motivation for projects? Thought I might ask here. That's a good question, I guess. I guess, I don't know, in some ways I would say I kind of have too much motivation for too many things. So for me, it might actually be kind of the opposite. How do you like avoid having lots of motivation for too many things and getting like distracted? Because that's probably one way to get demotivated, is if you start too many projects. I would say another big thing is like having a feedback loop. So for this project, like my game is not very good, and if like probably a lot of other people would take way longer to work on it and perfect it and then put something out. But I like the like if you look at if you check out the Kickstarter, the pitch is that I'm going to add a help menu to the game, and that's the only improvement that you're getting for this Kickstarter. And so by like kind of atomizing and making the goal small, like I will try to do a lot more than just add a help menu. I'm going to try to do some other refactoring and stuff along with that. But the fact that the outcome is very achievable and the probability of success is very high, then I think to me that just makes it way more motivating. I guess you could say lots more you could say about motivation, but in a general sense, it's hard to give specific advice. YouTube has shadow banned me for saying Epstein. Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of spooky stuff going on social media. Yeah, lots of weird censorship going on all over the place. Mainstream media and all kinds of basically every platform has its own kind of weird spooky stuff that's going on. And a lot of it too, I think it's like the algorithm is trying to ban like actually bad stuff, but in a lot of cases I think they're banning like the algorithms are kind of overzealous and they end up banning stuff that's actually like innocent, but it has like, coincidentally it has a signature of something bad. Like I remember back when I was testing out Facebook ads and stuff and trying to grow on Facebook a bit, they had like Facebook stores. So I took one of my previous Kickstarter campaign things, my regular expression stickers, and I put that up there as a product. So I'm like, oh, I'll try this Facebook store thing to see if it promotes my stuff at all. And so I put it up there, and like as soon as I created that product for regular expression stickers, which you can see the same thing on my online store, I got banned like immediately, and they disabled it, and they're like, we reviewed this and we don't think this is a good fit for Facebook. But it's literally just like stickers. It's the most innocent thing ever. Some of the triggers are intentionally banned to prevent discourse on a subject. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. It's the thing is, on one level, censorship is this, it's this awful, spooky thing. But what's even worse now, what we have now is even worse than censorship. It's like the algorithm is not even bad at targeting the things that people want, the powers that be want to censor. So we have like something, it's like, think about how many people have been radicalized for no reason because they posted it, like, for example, with my stickers. Now I'm going to be like, oh, big tech is trying to suppress the power of regular expressions. It's like they've got something out for me, and I can start building all these conspiracies about how the government knows about the power of regular expressions, and they have a secret regular expression machine that's so optimized. They don't want to let this secret knowledge out about regular expressions. Reminds me of Twitter, X. Yeah, there's Twitter is a strange platform. My stuff on there has nothing I post on X ever does well. My mind is not really plugged into the algorithm on there. YouTube seems to be the only platform that really gives any success for me. Which is not good, because then if I get banned on YouTube, then I'm done for. Product placement. The whole stream is product placement. Yeah, I think in order to effectively use these platforms, like I'm drinking Red Bull. I think YouTube is good for educational stuff. So like the videos I make, I put like a huge amount of work into them, and they're kind of, things to go out there and just get views forever, and you kind of have this slow exponential rise, and YouTube is the platform for that. But Twitter, anything you post on Twitter, even if you post amazing stuff, it'll get like, views for a couple days or something, and then it gets nothing. I think the X or Twitter is it's mainly optimized for news. Because if I think about like what is how do I use Twitter? Like how do I compulsively use it? I go in there and just see like what nonsense people are arguing about. But if like a crazy thing happened in the world, like if it's some natural disaster or something, I would probably check Twitter. That would be the first place I would go for like news and information about like a breaking thing that happened like 5 minutes ago, as opposed to like, because like mainstream news will take 24 hours to get an article out on it. Twitter start was a way to communicate online via SMS. Yeah, I think it kind of is in natural evolution from that. It evolved to be a kind of default platform for news. And I think the algorithm kind of implies that a little bit internally. I have noticed a few, it seems like it's like if you, it has some kind of like log scale ranking, where if you become known for a particular subject on Twitter now, and you're like in that, top 10% or something, then your views get boosted like 1,000x or something. Because there's a few people that seem to be on there a lot more. And when I look at how frequently a lot of people on Twitter post, I'm just like, wow, there's no way I can't compete with this, and I don't want to. Is being on that platform, like being on Twitter chronically, is just I check it maybe like once or twice a day, but why did I choose Java as the language for this game? Java is just I think it's a good language for desktop applications. I think a language like C or C++ is not really is definitely not a good it's definitely not a good language for this. Anything like string concatenation in C or C++ is just too much havoc. And Rust, I've never actually tried Rust, but it seems kind of like a fad language. And for Java, there's just way more support. Oh, I got another, I'm at 39, so that must be from, someone must have done, let's see, what would that be? Yeah, someone might have sponsored a new block type. The fact that government agencies have rolled it into their operations is astonishing. Yeah, I mean, Twitter. Yeah, it is. It's a funny, surreal world to see like a meme accounts and stuff, like meme accounts that have been popular, and like occasionally like serious professional government officials will retweet like these like nonsense accounts, like 420 something nonsense. Just curious, does Kickstarter not show what the project goal is? I think, yeah. So on the side, it does show it. It's got 39 of pledged of $14 goal. So it's just under the thing. It might. I guess I'm not logged in, so I think that should be how it looks for everyone. If you're on like a different kind of page, you might have to hover on something. Understandable. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. It does show the goal. Oh, nice. Another backer, 46. Wow, I'm gonna be rich. I did a Kickstarter. The goal is kind of unimportant for small projects. You keep the money either way. Yeah, I think it's the secret to Kickstarter is don't ask for a lot of money. And for this kind of small thing, I think to be realistic, it's got to be a goal that's so small it's like definitely going to get funded. The goal keeps growing. I thought a goal was fixed. I don't. It still looks the same. It's a $14 goal. So the top number 46. That's the current amount raised. So it's exceeded the goal. I set the goal to $14. It was, pretty modest goal. It's going to be the best help menu ever. Yeah, it is. It's going to be a very high quality help menu. Bedroom dev funds project overnight. Yeah, now I can just, if you set your goal for a very small success, then you can lead with that, and then I can publish some news articles saying, look how many 1,000% my project was funded. Technically hit the goal in the first minute. Yeah, I think it was like within the first couple of minutes. I was trying to set up I was trying to move over. I tried to set up a separate window so to show it on the side, and someone had already pledged before I could even get that set up. So this is getting kind of slow. I think it's probably from database writes, but it could be like some kind of a memory leak, or like maybe I'm accumulating objects. So for fun, let me just quit and then try opening it again and see if that improves the speed. Yeah, it seems like it's still laggy. Yeah, I would say that's probably an issue with the database interaction being slow. Yeah, that's really laggy. Maybe we'll do some different testing. So I guess I could do some debugging and stuff like that, but it's too much brain power to do on stream. Let's do some other testing to let's try just moving really far in the world. Let's try going up really far. I don't think I've ever tried that. Goal isn't growing. Misinterpreted the line below. The large type as 480. Oh wow, there's another pledge. Nice. We've exceeded the goal by almost 4 times now. Pledged hard. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your support. And you're also a member. That's on credit card. Well, don't extend yourself too much. We're in a recession now. The stock market's crashing and nobody's got any money. You're gainfully employed. That's good. You've got some. The future is bright for you if you've got a job. At this point, if you just survive the recession, anyone who's looking for a job now it's like every time I talk to someone about it, they say it's just brutal now. It's like so much time spent wasted on nonsense interviews and that's why I wasn't going. I was getting blocked by that. I thought I was lagging, but I was stuck on a bunch of wood. $700 rent in downtown Toronto. Are you able to rent a place for $700 in downtown Toronto? That's amazing. You must have roommates for that, or like that's the price of like a closet. Your old employer called, beg you to return. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the economy's improving a bit. I mean, things can only get worse for so long. The apartment is 120-year-old over a restaurant in Chinatown. Interesting. So do you pay $700 a month in rent in downtown Toronto? Subletting. So yeah, if you're paying, that's awesome. I mean, it's from a friend. Live there your whole life. Yeah, I mean that you're in a very that is an amazing position to be in. Trust me, it's like I'm sure you followed my rent eviction situation, but there's upwards of like 60 or 70 people in this building. They're trying to rent evict right now, and they're like aggressively trying to get us out. And I'm paying $1,100 a month for this place, and if they get us out of here, it's $2,000 a month that they can jack up the rent to. And I mean, everything around here is just, yeah. I mean, that's count every day that you get to hold on to that $700 place. That's count yourself lucky, because it's I think you're living on borrowed time. I think that eventually inflation is going up so much too. Like, they're not only just trying to rent evict us, they're trying to get everyone to pay for hydro separately. Dukes is senior building inspector here too. I get the best advice on dwelling diagnoses. Moving to Ireland. Yeah, I know. I know at least one person that's thinking about moving to Ireland. just to, try something different. But I also see like a lot of random news come through about how Europe is kind of on fire and things are super bad over there and out of control immigration. I mean, there's a lot of that in the UK, I think, in Britain. There's been a lot of that in the last couple of days. I speak Irish fluent and can get a passport via grandparents. Nice. I'm moving to Bangladesh for a better life. I heard they were in the news recently. The what was it? The monarch, or their whoever's their leader, like left the country on a military jet or something recently. Heard there's a bunch of controversy about all that. Too much woke stuff here. I don't know. I feel like everywhere is terrible. Everywhere is in chaos. There's really not many. It's like the grass is greener syndrome, where for sometimes it can seem like somewhere else is maybe better, but then you go there, spend a few years, and then you realize why it's not quite as great as you thought it was. All a distraction from the class war. Yeah, there's I feel like it's almost like there's a we can kind of blame a lot of the problems on some like social or policy thing, but I think fundamentally we've spent way too much money for too long, and we're way too in debt. And in order to have a happy, comfortable society, you have to have money and resources. But if you don't have that, then obviously you can't, like we keep saying like, oh, all senior citizens, we don't have enough money to take care of we've got the inverted age pyramid, so that's why we have to do immigration, and that has all kinds of other issues that, people complain about. But then all of that is just like financial mismanagement for the past 100 years catching up with us. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, it's George Soros is planning against us. I mean, the thing is at the same time, there are people conspiring for world domination and trying to do all kinds of weird stuff. But in a way, we have a confluence. I almost think that the conspiracy theorists are not working hard enough, because it's not that there's one person planning to take over the world. There's probably a good 2,000 people who are trying to become an evil overlord and create one world government and do all this kind of shady stuff. It's the BlackRock company buying up all our houses, and so the average common person with no resources who is doing a Kickstarter for $14, it's hard to compete against all this stuff. The Irish would rule if whiskey hadn't been invented. I guess I don't have enough information to confirm or to refute that statement. Follow the money. Yeah, I think that's good advice. I think that I think one thing that's definitely wrong is that people say, oh, we want it's the the WEF trying to do a one world government. But I mean, think about it. If you're like some evil maniacal person that wants like total control and power, are you going to share that power with like on some board of directors with other people? You want it like all yourself. But the thing is, there's like thousands of people who are individually like that. And I think as much as they're battling us, they're battling each other. The Irish language is one of the hardest to learn. Isn't the Irish language, or do you mean, I think like, I mean, back in the day, I think they spoke Gaelic. My grandfather spoke Gaelic. He taught me like a few words. Best leaders are reluctant ones. Yeah, I think it's probably a reasonable characterization. Yeah, Gaelic. Do people still speak Gaelic in Ireland at all? In the West? So I've hit y equals 400 and still making terrain up here. It's still, I definitely gotta fix more of them lag bugs. This is a new world and it's slowed right down. For the most part, the fan doesn't spin up in this laptop. That's the reason I use it. But it's getting slow, even though I'm in a new world. That is interesting. Why does that happen? I can hear the hard drive ticking away. Maybe the hard drive's going bad. It is a pretty old computer. This is it's getting brutal. No, I guess I won't bother debugging logs. Let's relaunch it and see if that changes anything. Maybe I guess I'll do some code reviewing. Yeah, I have. You may notice that I like single long lines. So this is where it's sending back a acknowledgement. So that's what facilitates the throttling of the block writes, but I create this acknowledgement after this this work item has been queued to do the write. So it can send back this immediately. But then the thread will just continue, and if the writing is slow, then you could potentially still get a whole bunch of, because it's only acknowledging the adding of the work item to the queue. So you could still have a queue that has a whole bunch of things, whole bunch of work piled up in it. Brian, I heard that the Australian painter guy was a chain smoker, but they ended up being against smoking. So my theory is, if he hadn't quit smoking, maybe World War II would have been different. Yeah, I don't know. There's lots you could say about the Australian painter guy, or the Australia. You mean Austrian painter guy? I assume I know who you're talking about, but once again, there's those things that you talk about in chat that'll get you that get your oh, hey Carlo, how's it going? How is long time since I talked to you? Yeah, Austrian. I think he was Austrian, wasn't he? Australian painter guy. Now, that would have made World War II a lot different if it was an Australian painter guy. Yeah, I noted your channel membership as soon as you made the during my 30 days of making videos. Yeah, it's actually amusing. I've seen there's a bunch of people I've seen at like the YouTube comment section who I haven't talked to, in person or via email, but people just show up in the comments and I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? So what I need to do instead is, instead of sending this immediately, I can send in, see, it's the conversation ID. That's how I'm keeping track of like how to associating those packets that are getting sent in and acknowledging the acknowledgement. So I can take that and I think I'll have to put it in here as part of the work item. And the reason I didn't do that before was because I think I was going through this interface. I have this generic interface for like writing blocks that doesn't include the, I want to just make the interface simple. I don't want to have like a million different parameters in them. No, I forget. Is that a synchronous call? I don't know if you can hear that. That's my stomach. I had Subway today, and I've started to remember why I stopped eating at Subway. Yeah, I think I got food poisoning at Subway, and then like I didn't go again for years, just like out of instinct. And then one day I just happened to be by one. I'm like, huh, why haven't I had a meatball sub in a while? And then I had one, and then it's like, oh, these are good. I should start coming back here. And then I don't know. It's almost like I feel like the ingredients they use are like the cheapest possible ingredients, and they're using some sort of like weird wheat for the bread that's not real wheat, but it saves them 1 cent, so they use it instead. I think there was actually a Marketplace episode where they investigated and found that like Subway meat is like mostly not meat, or it's like something totally different. So it looks like this method is synchronous. So what I can do is I'll just add a return code. I guess I don't even need a return code. I'll just pass the conversation ID along into here. Yeah, actually, you know what? The roast beef always had a suspicious green sheen. Yeah, I've seen that before too. I kind of wonder. I wonder if it could be oil, but then again, seeing green on your meat, that's not a good sign. It's not. Meat is not supposed to be that color. Buy a bag of frozen spicy meatballs, can of sauce, Swiss cheese. No diarrhea because money saved. Yeah, but the problem is convenience. And also I find the biggest issue about it is if you want like the fresh vegetables like spinach and green peppers and stuff like that really makes it. But getting fresh vegetables in very small quantities is difficult, and it's also very expensive. I think it's like $10 now, so I got a foot long, so I get two meals out of it. I've been doing a lot of frozen veg recently. Go to Wholesale Club, load up meatballs, $10 for a kilogram. That's a kilogram of meatballs. That's pretty good. Kickstarter, is it being used to deploy kernel-based VM? I'm not sure what that question means. Oh yeah, the session is not here. That's, I think, why I didn't. Yeah, that's why I didn't put that in here. Because this method was just for generic. Right, so I guess I could probably add it in here. Wholesale club is like Costco sizes, but no membership. Yeah, I used to. I used to go to Walmart pretty regularly to get stuff, and try and stock up and go on. Get everything in bulk in advance. But then, I guess after the pandemic, I've just I started valuing my time so much more. I find most recently there's like a place down on King Street that I just go to every few days, and I buy, like, they have pre-done lunches, and they're not bad, and they're somewhat fresh. So I just go there and buy a few of those, and then that's my meals for the next few days. Actually, I can't add that. I don't think. I'll have to modify this. This was kind of just like a demo thread. It's not a real. That's annoying. I'm gonna have to think about this a bit more. My issue is that I want to. When I do these like writes to the block world, I need a block session. It's like a client session to talk back to. But in this thread where I'm using that, I can't do that because there's really no session. It's just like, a background task on the server that's updating stuff. So there's kind of like a logical issue. But it needs to have this type of work item needs to have a block session associated with it in order to send back the acknowledgements after the write has happened. Should look into that, like catering place. The place I go is I'm not sure if you're still in the area, but it's down on let's see where would be the nearest. It's very close to the Kitchener City Hall. It's like it's one of those grocery stores where you would expect everything would be insanely expensive. It's like a kind of small one, but they're pretty done meal. It's maybe like a $10 or $11 for like these meals, and I've been going there regularly, and the guys there expect me now, and they give me like way more than they used to now, so I get like three meals out of one thing sometimes, so it's pretty decent. If I go there on the right days, they have some meals that I like. It's like a beef stew type things, and freshness is one of the main issues with food preparation. I think it starts to get more economic to do grocery runs when you've got more people to cater to. And then also the meal prep time is just so such a time consuming thing. It also kind of, I do on like the average day, I say I don't really get out that much, so it is kind of nice just to have the routine to like go for a kind of long walk. I kind of feel that if I didn't have that, I would need to invent a reason to go for a walk. I grew up eating at soup kitchens. That must be pretty challenging. I mean, these days, that's in Canada here. That's starting to get to be a pretty tough spot to be in. The food banks and stuff are turning away people now because there's so many of the people who are new visitors are taking all the food. Honestly, I don't know the name of the place. I'll Carlo, I'll follow up. I'll send you an email after this, and talk a bit more in detail. I'll give you a direct link to the place. But yeah, what are you up to for work these days? You mentioned that last time you were at what was it? It was some kind of wacky. Wacky's not the right word. It was some sort of complicated like backup synchronization type thing you mentioned, and I can't remember what it was called, but I remember I commented like, this sounds like the storage system that your mom warned you to stay away from. Because it sounded it was like some combination ZFS, like a partially available thing. ZFS is I kind of starting to like ZFS after a couple of years of working with it. It's a pretty decent file system. I'd like to do some more videos on it. During my 30 days of videos, the one that I did on ZFS, that one's actually starting to that seems like one of the better ones that's actually starting to trend up. Every prepper should know how to make broth and soup and keep it a daily pot. If everyone did that, we could survive anything. Yeah, soup is a pretty nice like basic food. Like people get really caught up in recipes and like following it. Everything has to be detailed proportions, but like when you're poor, a soup can be basically anything. Like as long as you get a meat thing and a kind of vegetable thing and some water, you can make a soup. Software developer, we do B2B remote management software for mobile devices and IoT. Interesting. Yeah, actually, Carlo, what's your perspective on the job market these days? I haven't been applying. Like the idea of like going back to a full-time job is not, even though my financial situation is not that great, the older I get, the less interested I am in going back into that whole situation. I know right now, supposedly it's like, I think it's the worst that it's ever been for getting a software dev job. And so much of the process is like, it's just insane. Like it seems like the standard process is it's like a 6 to 8 month, 6 to 8 months of like interviewing at places, and of course they quiz you on like the latest frameworks. And if you don't know like something about, I don't know, React hooks or something like that, they're like, oh, that's a sign you're not good enough. You gotta learn this one. You gotta spend like 2 days reading up on this obscure framework to get this job. E says, hello, Mr. Robert Elder. Hello, E. How's it going? Let's see. What could I do? I guess as a kind of throwaway test, what I could do, just to get back to something that works. So this doesn't really belong in here. But let's just see how this works. And I guess what I can do is just I guess I could make this kind of like for now, just to keep that demo working. Okay, this is the slightly improved flow control. So this should actually guarantee that there's only one pending write at a time, or one pending write of the uninitialized chunks. This may be a bit better. So, Carlo, I'm curious. Does YouTube recommend my stream in your feed a lot? Like, is this the first time you've seen? I think it's the first time I've seen you in the chat. Because I'm trying to figure out how the YouTube algorithm works for streaming. And it seems like, so right now I've got 8, there's, I've got like 57,000 or something people, 57,000 subscribers, but then there's only 8 people here right now. And it kind of seems like what it's doing is it lets in like a small kind of cohort of people, and then like some people are churning out. And then, so I think what it's doing now is it's like in the early stages of learning, like, who actually wants to watch this kind of live stream content. Because every single stream that I do, I lose subscribers. I think it's kind of slowed down a little bit recently, but YT recommended your stream in my feed just now and a few times previously. Yeah, I think I've seen you here at least a few times. So I guess you're. I usually see it after the stream is already over. Just poor timing on my part. Yeah, it's. I guess my timing. It was almost like a. It was almost like a last minute kind of rush thing. The first time I did it, and then I'm like, all right, I'll just try to stick to this. And that was my rushed goal, to do it like late night, every Saturday night. I guess it is kind of like it's not a very opportune time. I guess I release my videos at 10 a.m. So the people who see that, people who see it first are going to be, I guess, mostly North American. And to start at like 10 p.m. is not the ideal time. But I guess you're saying that you've seen the other ones. So I guess, I don't know. I'm not sure what I can reverse engineer from that. But my hunch is that it's sampling a small subset. There's I think if YouTube wanted, it could probably, because when I first started streaming, I had like 40 concurrent people, and then it slowly went down. Because my guess is it probably estimated like, oh, for this number of subscribers, we can estimate this number of people would want to watch the live stream. And I guess my live stream content is completely different to the long form, or the shorts. So there's like the algorithm has got to do a lot of recalibrating to figure out who's the audience. I mean, honestly, these live streams are not very good. I don't think I would watch these live streams. I've watched a few live streams in the past. Every time I watch a live stream, though, I'm just like, is this really the best use of my time? I kind of prefer watching them after they finish and then putting them on 2x speed and then like clicking around. I think a lot of other people do as well. It's the most efficient way to absorb content. Frederick Harm says, hi, good morning. I also have extensions to hide recommendations and stuff, so I can watch it in my subscriptions feed. I was just recommended it first time I've seen it recommended. Yeah, I assume YouTube is just like testing a small amount, and then my guess is that probably there's some like metric. There's something like right now, average view duration is 4 minutes and 7 seconds. So probably at some point, YouTube will figure out who like hates the live streams, and then who's going to have the high average view time content. And then once I hit like some magic number, then it'll like allow more people in. That's my guess. Could do a stream with some specific goal and cut it into YouTube video. That seems to be a popular strategy. Yeah. I really just wish I had more equipment to work with. It's even setting up this stream to do. I guess this stream kind of has a goal, which is to get the Kickstarter funded. But it's content creation is so much work. There's like to make this video, and then and then if you want to like edit it and stuff, and also content planning. I need like a whole team of editors and stuff vacuuming up my content and then looking through it for nuggets and outtakes. But then again, that's also, it's also a lot of pressure, because if I say and do some stupid thing, then I get canceled, and that's a growth strategy. Just do like embarrassing, crazy things. But then of course people will hate on you and stuff and mock you, and I think this is I think this new adjustment definitely does. It's changing how I think it makes the like loading pattern a bit more intuitive. Like it makes more sense. People, like just looking at it, you can see like, oh, it's like the path in front of me is lighting up. It looks a bit less random than before. Yeah, I was thinking of doing a stream, like maybe, I don't know, a show and tell stream where I show some of the cool stuff. I have like a whole bunch of I have a whole bunch of like silicon wafers and stuff, and like some of the like in addition to my how to make a CPU video, I actually show some of those things up close. Then again, it's hard to do that live. If I had like multiple cameras and I could switch between them and stuff like that, because I need like I need to show like something with me and I guess I could, yeah, I don't know. It's probably possible. I probably have enough cameras and tripods and things that I could make something out of that. That would probably be clippable. But then again, that's not really the best the quality of the longer form clips that you get wouldn't be that great. I guess you maybe get some shorts out of it. I don't know. The problem is there's so many things that you can do, but all of them have like a small ROI. Like this, tonight I'm actually producing some revenue today. Tonight I got $53 in revenue, but that covers expenses for like one day. I was surprised by how much stuff you had when I saw that video. That's the how to make a CPU video, I assume. I have a few other ones that I think I show even more content, more samples and stuff. I've got some like germanium and stuff. I actually have even more pieces. Like I bought quite a few things. A few of the things in that video, I bought them like without knowing what they looked like. Just because I wanted to find something that looked good on camera. So I only, in that video, I showed one of the photo masks, but I actually have two of those TSMC photo masks. And then I have a whole bunch of other photo masks that are, I think they're actually much newer. I think, and they have like the patterns, the actual mask pattern on them is like, it's very, very small. Like you can't, it's on my to-do list to take a microscope and like look at some of what I think are the smaller details in it, because it just looks like kind of like an iridescent like pattern. You can't really even see that there's anything there. It's all part of the fun stuff I'd like to do and dig into and make videos on, but once again, everything is takes so much time. I have a couple 10cm wafers from eBay from 1970s. I was going to turn them into a coaster, but didn't have the heart. I think they probably wouldn't make good coasters because the temperature gradient would probably crack them easily. The wafers are pretty much just it's almost like a sheet of glass, basically. It has a sound of it sounds like a piece of metal, and I think if you break the wafers too, the shards on them are pretty sharp, if I recall correctly. And I think you get like, actually that's one of my to-do list ideas. I'm getting caught up, so I may actually execute on a few of these ideas, but I have a few just doing like a shorts video on like just break a wafer, just for the fun of it, to show what it looks like. Find some interesting way to present it so that it can be like clickbait. I was going to epoxy them. Temperature wouldn't be an issue. Yeah, they're depending on the wafers. You have to get the ones from the right manufacturing node, because I think some of the newest ones, and I mean there's the if you get a wafer, the reason it ends up in your possession is because there's something wrong with it, and sometimes if the wafer gets rejected early in the manufacturing process, then if it's like one of the lower layers, then you end up with really small features. But then if it's like later, or if it's like if there's a metal layer, if that's where it was rejected, then you don't really get a lot of. It doesn't really look as interesting and impressive. 40 nanometer lends itself to the DIY fab. Oh, my sign fell down. I don't know, 40 nanometer, that's pretty small. I think like 100 micron, that could be, I think, around this scale of like DIY fab. I wonder how far away the SLA 3D printers are from being able to DIY it. I think this is one of those things I want to do my to-do list on, but I think really the key, like for like DIY CPU fabrication, I think printing is not necessarily what you want to do. It's like the real challenge is like the optics, getting the optics and the like light control, which is not if you're doing like hundreds of micron level stuff, I think you can technically buy, you could just buy like microscope objectives and do this. You need to like make sure things are aligned correctly, and there's, you know, lots of practical issues. And then of course with if you just buy an objective off eBay, now you have to think about like spherical aberration and stuff like that. But these are all problems where like you know, for an advanced commercial semiconductor thing, it's like, you know, totally show-stopping problems. But for a DIY thing, these are totally things you could get away with. And as long as you can make those really small, precise shadows, then after that, it's all just a chemical engineering problem. Because if you can get the, you know, precise, nice, sharp shadows, then you just have to, you need a chemical that's photosensitive. And then after that, it's basically like manufacturing with a light. I guess 3D printing would be a whole. Yeah, I mean, you could 3D manufacture a CPU on the micron level, but I think might end up being way too time consuming, because the information transfer rate of shining light through a photomask is like massive. Hey, just joined. How's the APT situation? They're still trying to renovate everybody. I think they're up to, there's maybe like 100 something apartments in this building, and I think they have outstanding N13s against like 60 or 70 people in the building. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of random drama and stuff, but for now, I'm still here. Actually, it's on my to-do list to kind of get back into working on that a bit. I get to talk to some people and figure out what the latest is. So instead of 3D resin, you could put in those chemicals and use SLA. And SLA uses LCD to make the shadow of the mask, shadow of the UV light. SLA, what does that stand for again? Stereolithography. Interesting. I don't think I'm not familiar with that process. yeah, there's a whole basically shines a UV laser through an LCD mask to get resin. So is this part of like a? Is this used for other things? Like for stuff that's not making CPUs? Like a general manufacturing process? They're getting super cheap from Anycube or Eligu. Interesting. I'm not up to date with all those. There's actually quite a few different interesting, like cutting edge manufacturing approaches for small stuff, and hopefully we will get some innovation in the next, I don't know, 10 years or something to hopefully push forward. Like, how cool would that be to just have to have like an actual homebrew CPU company? Like someone just in their basement making their own CPUs, and like they're really slow and not powerful. Like, I'm sure there would be a niche market for an actual homemade CPU, $100 a piece, and they can play some, like, you know, really old games from the 1980s or something. Like some of the most basic games, or like those I forget what those were called. Those like computers that were basically just like a little keyboard with maybe a couple of lights on it. Mainly used for 3D D&D models and custom jewelry, but used in industry and in dentistry and custom fabrication. Models are super high resolution. Yeah, actually, I remember when I got my one of my my crown for my root canal. They had this like 3D printer that actually printed the, or what do you call it, the cap for the root canal, and they had to like match it to my tooth and mouth. Yeah, I should assume that kind of thing would probably be capable of helping out in the homebrew CPU revolution. I think those printers though are pretty expensive. I think Tensilica IP broke the market in RISC-V. Tensilica, I'm not familiar with that. Nope, starting to lag really bad again. I wonder if that's due to like there's like one disk write that's getting locked up. They're around 200 to 600 on Amazon, and you need curing and washing station for another 200. Huh, that's a lot cheaper than I thought. They're challenging ARM. That's ARM is ARM is quite a behemoth now. It's going to be a challenging fight to go up against them. I think ARM actually went. I think I read that they went public recently, though. So when companies go public, that's usually their downfall. But I think I might leave it there for tonight. So I satisfied my commitment in the title. I'm lucky enough to get almost 4x funding on my Kickstarter. So hopefully I can do better on this Kickstarter than I can break the record I made last time. I think I made $220 in the last one. Risk B is way too, I think. Now that NVIDIA owns ARM, they're going to mess with the licensing. Yeah, those companies are so big that they have so much control. I don't know. They almost become like monopolies because so many people need the service that they provide. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it there for tonight. I'll try and keep up with my Saturday stream as well. Certainly come a long way from Sinclair and BBC Micro days. Yeah, ARM is a behemoth now. Anyway, talk to you guys later.